Hello everybody, that's Siobhan.
And that's Swayze.
And I'm David, and this is Wig and Wine Wednesdays.
Yay! So today our guest is David. He's one of our close friends. We absolutely love him. And the wigs we're wearing today, mine is from Uni Wigs, and I'll have the style linked down below in the drop bar. And
mine is from Sylvia Styles, and we'll link that as well.
we will also link the wine that we have today, which David picked out for us.
So I'll have him introduce it.
Yes. It is a Malbec from Argentina. It's one of my favorite wines. It's delicious.
I'm so excited to try it.
A classically Argentine wine that thrives in the Mendoza high altitudes, our Alamos Malbec blends the depthly concentrated plum flavors of the country's signature variety Malbec with small portions of Syria, I think that's how you say that, and Bonarda to add dark cherry and blackberry flavors. Well-integrated hints of brown spice and vanilla contribute layers of complexity. A full structure, firm tannins, and a long finish create an expansive palette that is hard to forget. With crisp, clean air and intense sunlight, growing conditions in Mendoza are truly ideal for Malbec.
Awesome.
You read that so beautifully. Okay, should we taste it?
Yeah.
I'm
Cheers.
excited. Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
Cheers.
That's smooth.
Oh my gosh, that's so much better than the last.
I know.
It's dry, but it's still sweet enough, I guess.
Yeah, in a good way where it doesn't like make you do this face.
It's like smooth, like it just like glides over your tongue. Where a lot of dry wines are like,
Yeah.
yeah.
David, we don't have a lot of questions prepared for you because we kind of just want to like riff with you because you have a lot to talk about. But one of the big things is that David moved from where exactly?
Zacatecas, Mexico.
Yeah,
Not gonna try. To Arizona, right?
I
First?
did, yes.
And then lived there for how long?
For almost 12 years.
Oh wow. And
Yeah.
then you moved to Utah just a few years ago, right?
Yeah, I think it's going on 4 years now.
Oh nice.
Yeah.
So one of the main things we wanted to talk about is just the biggest culture shocks or biggest differences you would say between the places you've moved, because we just think that would be fascinating.
Especially moving countries. I'm sure that's
Yeah.
a huge change.
I think the biggest hurdle for me was the language.
Yeah.
Not knowing how to actually communicate with anyone was probably
So you didn't speak English?
very, very little, just kind of what you would think an American person would speak Spanish of, you know, like, so not very,
Wow.
yeah,
You're
how
good.
very good.
You're good.
And yeah, so just very, very little English, and I think that was probably the hardest thing for me coming here, that I just didn't really
How old were you?
speak the language. I was 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
English is
good.
not
That'll be
easy.
hard, yeah.
It's
Like
really
us going to
not.
Mexico, I think would be a lot easier because it's a much easier language to grasp, but English makes no sense most of the time. And you
It has
speak
so
it
many
very
dumb
well
rules.
now.
Yeah.
So
Well,
So many
it
dumb
has so
rules.
many dumb rules, but then like most of them get broken at some point.
Yeah.
yeah. Was there anything else like culturally?
Culturally,
Culturally?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
Just everything?
it's, yeah, no, just everything. Like in Mexico, it's very like, you know, family is family, and like everyone's always together, which can be too much sometimes.
so
But
they usually
it's
like
nice
live like the family lives together for like a longer time than we do, right?
for sure. Usually, especially with with the kids, you know, they won't leave until you get married.
Yeah.
Like that
And,
is
like
the day
here,
you
it's
move
like
out.
I'm 18. Bye.
Yeah, no, that's definitely. I mean, sure, a lot of people, you know, are gonna move out and do what they want to do, but for the most part, it's very like you move out when you get married.
I didn't
Like
know
that is the day you move out, is the day you got married, and you go move in with your husband or wife or whatever, and a lot of the time you move in with your family.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
crazy.
yeah.
I mean, it's not crazy. I use that word loosely, but like, it's
No, yeah.
interesting.
It's just different
Mhm.
from what we.
Yeah. No, sometimes you'll find like 3 generations in one home, which is insane.
I
if you
love
think
that
about
though.
it.
Family really is so
It's the
important.
most important thing.
It's hard sometimes because people do have toxic families, and it's like you're not tied to them, but at the same time, like families just, it is an important thing if it's done right. If you're a healthy family, so I do admire that they stay closer. But
They're the only people that
speaking-
know you like your entire
Yeah,
life.
exactly, and they do have your best interest most of the time.
Most of the time.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
But that's a nice segue into something that I find absolutely fascinating with David is recently I've learned about like funerals and death in other cultures, and in Mexico, and probably almost anywhere else, right?
Yeah, no,
just not America.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's not very common here, and I mean, I don't know why. Like, I feel like it's death is such a normal part of life. Like, that's just, people die. And
yeah, and somehow in America or in the States, it's become a thing where it's like, they die, they're gone, the funeral place takes care of everything, you see them maybe one more time, and then funeral. But other places, especially where you're from, it's like, do you want to tell them about it? Where you
Yeah, no, like, when my grandmother died, like, everything was done at home. You know, we got her ready at home, we changed her at home, we washed her at home, and we put her in her coffin at home, and that is where she stayed until the day that she was actually, you know, buried. And that's just such a... Any other day, it's a normal thing that people do, and I feel like
That's cool.
it's a healthier way to process, like, you've
The
lost
family,
someone,
yeah.
so you actually get to be there, and you get to really take it in, and like, you know, and just spend some quality time with them before that's like the last time you see them.
That makes so much sense. The first time I heard that, like, my initial response was like, oh my gosh, that's so weird. But then when you actually, like, break it down and think about it, it makes so much more sense to have that closure and to, feel that closest. Not like as soon as they're gone, all of a sudden they're this foreign, like,
Well, yeah, when my grandparents passed, it was just like, they're there one day. Like, my grandpa lived with us when he passed. And so he's there, and then all of a sudden he's not. And so it, like, took a while for it to even sink in, because it's like...
Because you don't have that, like,
Yeah,
transitional
like, where's grandma,
period.
you know?
Yeah.
And then it's like, at his funeral, it's like, okay, well, he's gone, but, like...
Well, I've even heard of people going, or, like, losing someone that they don't have, like, an open casket, and they're like, I never felt that closure, because you can't, like...
Visually
It's
see.
hard, to, like, comprehend, but if you were to, like, see them and to, like, help with their body and everything, that makes so much more sense to get that closure.
Yeah.
I think that's so fascinating.
So, either including that or aside from that, what would you want people to know about you? Just, like, anybody on the street, or if you're, like, getting to know somebody, like, what's something that you would want them to know?
This is gonna be really, really cheesy, but this is, like, genuinely how I feel most
I was
of the
gonna
time.
say, it can be cheesy or it can be deep.
No,
both. Yeah.
Like, this is just very much who I am, and it's that I love you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I want everyone to kind of take away from being my friend, is that I want you to feel loved, and I want you to feel like you're taken care of, and that I'm here for you, because that's, you know, what we should do as people with each other, is to, you know, love.
If
That's
more
awesome.
people were like that, it'd be a much better world.
Oh, totally.
But I will say, as someone, we haven't known each other that long or been together that much, but I feel like you're somebody that, like, our spirits connect, and almost, like, you're just so easy to get along with.
Thank you.
You're easy to talk to, and you're very sweet, so
Thank you.
I get that from you. If that's
Yeah,
your goal
the
in life,
genuinity is definitely there. If that's
Definitely.
a word.
genuine.
Genuinity. You're very genuine. So everybody, this is David. It was so nice to have a fun little chat and let other people get to know you like we have.
Yeah, and we'll link your Instagram and all that kind of stuff down below for anyone that wants to check David out.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for bringing wine.
Yes.
We're gonna
welcome,
read
guys.
it now, and it's a little trickier because you've had it before, but I really like this one. This is a
I'd probably
really good.
say like a 4.
That's what I was gonna
Which
say.
I think is
4.
pretty high for us for a red
For
wine.
a red, yeah, we never go that high. We're trying to develop our red wine palate, so this was a really
This is a
good
perfect
segue.
one for that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. It's delicious.
Mm-hmm.
What do you rate it? Probably a 5. Something
Because
that's
it's,
your favorite.
it's one of my favorites, so I have to give it a 5.
That's
for
fair.
sure.
Thank you for being on
Yes.
our show.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, David.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.